Yeah, so I did get that helmet cover done of that pattern that I showed you.
Sweet.
Also, I washed my hat for the first time in like 5 years.
Nice.
Yeah, it was like orange and like black before, and people were like, "You should probably wash that." And so finally did it right, and it's like, oh, it is still multicam tropic.
How'd you wash it?
Well, my wife like soaked it in OxyClean for a day, and the water was completely orange, and then washed it normally, and it was like, oh, it is that sun faded. It was just being greased over by years of just disgustingness.
Yeah, dude.
Fuck, dude, the helmet cover. Check this out.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Dude, it looks so much better than regular like multicam or like Scorpion. Like it's
So,
just it's so cool. It's like a lot smaller. Like the pattern itself is a lot smaller,
yeah.
and the colors are a little bit better. Yeah, it's fucking cool. But so you just survived a fucking pretty substantial impact from a hurricane.
Yeah, man, it's pretty bad. It's messed up a lot of stuff. So, it's,
Yeah, there's some dudes that I watch who they have like a show that they do from Florida, and they're used to it, but they're like, because usually they get like the brunt of it and everything, like Louisiana, Florida, sometimes Texas, and they're like, this one sucks because it's going north inland, and they're not prepared for this kind of shit.
no. No, it didn't seem like they were prepared. And I mean, it took out like sections of the interstate, and it's pretty bad.
Yeah. Oh, just wash them out.
Yeah, it took like half the road out, half the interstate.
That fucking sucks, man.
Yeah, a
But
bunch of bridges are gone, and there was like buildings and hospital in the flood zones, and it got all those and flooded all that.
shit. So you guys, do you know how much rainfall you guys got in your area?
No, it was a shit ton though. I'll tell you.
Like
But
several inches, probably. Yeah, like within a
yeah,
short amount of time.
mhm.
Damn. Because yeah, you sent me a picture of that one like river. That like I know how rivers in that part of the state look. They're usually not looking like
No,
that.
yeah, yeah,
I was like, fuck, man. It's like a dam blew up, you know?
yeah.
But
I think one dam did blow up somewhere in
oof,
Tennessee. I don't know.
dude,
I
that's
don't know. I
I
don't
mean,
know the
yeah.
details.
Well, I think in like Georgia and the Carolinas too, they were getting fucked up pretty bad, and then it kind of shifted and went northwest, and now it's in I think it's in the central part of the country, like Illinois and shit like that. But it's like it's not a hurricane anymore. It's just like really bad thunderstorms and just rain.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It was pretty gnarly. I mean, but it came in quick, and it didn't really. It didn't last long. It seemed like, but it dumped a lot of rain and wind, and
oh yeah, yeah, that's yeah. People were like, we had no fucking warning, and the guys I was telling you about in Florida, like
yeah,
that stream, they're like, a day is enough warning for you in Florida, but it's not enough for you guys up north.
no,
And they're like, we did see it coming. It's also the end of September in the southeast of the United
yeah,
States.
yeah,
What happens usually at that point? But
yeah.
no, it was a nasty fucker. Like the path was just weird to like watch it kind of do this and then, but it just decided to go almost straight north at a certain point.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit. But no,
I'm
I'm
just
glad you
glad.
made it
I
through
don't
though.
think anyone died up here. I haven't heard anyone dying, so that's
Well,
pretty
that's
good.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I think a few people in Florida died. It was just from shit falling on them,
yeah,
you
that's
know.
horrible. Yeah.
But it's good that there wasn't more because it was a gnarly storm from what I hear.
Dude, yeah, it was crazy, but I
Yeah,
couldn't imagine being down in Florida. But
yeah. I mean they were joking. They're like, yeah. I mean, we didn't know it was coming. The water is only 100 fucking degrees right now. You know, we didn't see this coming. It's like, yeah. I mean, the water gets super warm. Like you've been down to the Gulf. Like, have you ever been down to the Gulf like right before a hurricane hits?
I don't think so. I've
Dude, the
been to the
water
Gulf.
gets
So,
really
yeah.
hot. Like it's like um I was there in '04. I was in like Gulfport in Biloxi, Mississippi right before It wasn't Katrina. It was the year before that. But it was a nasty fucking hurricane. We were there like Labor Day weekend, so the beginning of September, and there was so many dead jellyfish on the beach because the water was so warm and it wasn't like habitable for them.
Yeah.
And you walk in, and usually the Gulf it's like warm, but it's not like hot feeling, to like body temperature, and you're like, ooh, that's interesting. But
Interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, that
apparently
is
that's what
interesting.
happens. Yeah, and it kills a lot of shit. Like, I mean, but it's natural. Like, it just happens. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, nothing you can do about it. But no, it's just gnarly that it hit so many people. I wonder. I hope it's not going to be a bad season because like it goes until like late October, hurricane season typically.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. Well, I like it. I don't want anyone to get hurt or anything, but I like
right.
storms. I like sitting out and watching them and listening to the wind blow and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, and I used to like until this year I was like for whatever reason super paranoid about storms and just fucking whatever and just like obsessive about it. And then I think did I tell you this like in like June, I think it was early June, I went to bed and about 20 minutes after I fell asleep, a fucking F1 like ripped about 250 yards from my house,
yeah.
like through, and I slept through the whole thing, didn't even wake up. I was like, okay, well, I
It's probably
guess,
the
I
best
guess,
way. You were
yeah,
freaking out.
right. And it's like, well, all right, I'm not scared anymore. It's like it didn't do anything. Even if it did, if it was a direct hit, okay, we would have probably still been okay. Like, good God. But yeah, I mean, storms are fucking cool. Like, there was one I was posting on Discord the other morning. I woke up and it was like I don't know, like 7 or 8, and because the sun was like it's the fall sun up here. I don't know if you ever seen that up here. It's like really orange. Is it like that right now down where you're at?
Yeah, you can get orange. Yeah.
Yeah, where it's like really big and orange in the morning. Not like it's weird, but like so there was this storm that was like moving kind of not parallel, but like about what's like halfway between perpendicular and parallel. Like it's a 45. I don't know, but it was like moving from the southwest to the northeast, right? And I'm like, I got a completely cool side view of this thing, of the actual
Yeah.
storm, like the core and everything. And I was like, that's fucking sweet. So I was like videoing and that, and all of a sudden it shifted, and then it's like, oh, it got really calm, it cooled down, and then it started with the wind and all that shit. And I sat out there and filmed, and I was like, this is fucking awesome. And the reason the sun matters because it was at such an angle where it like reflected off of this whole core and was just like red or orange. It was so cool.
Yeah.
And then it hit, and it was like a little bit windy for a bit, downpoured for about an hour and a half, and then it was like, bam, the sun came back out. So storms are fucking awesome.
Yeah. They're crazy, man. I've been in quite a few of them, and uh, it's sometimes I've only had a few times where I'm like, oh man, this is not fucking good. Usually I can, be somewhere safe and look at it and observe it and stuff, which is nice. But um, man, we went to the beach one time in Myrtle. I think it was like Myrtle Beach in the '90s, and dude, we were on the ocean and it was fucking crazy. We had to leave because the storm was bad, and then I forget what year that was, but man, storms, man, yeah, they're nuts. I seen storm in. We were coming through New Mexico and I seen a storm. That was pretty nuts.
Yeah,
The
because it's all
sky.
just fucking flat.
Yeah, it was crazy. We were driving. It was in the middle of the night, and we could see all the lightning, and it was
Mm,
just nuts.
it's like scary and beautiful at the same time.
Yeah,
It's like, holy shit, there's so much power in this thing, and it's gonna happen.
yeah,
Like, you have no control over it.
yeah,
And but it's kind of a cool thing. And we got hail the other day for the first time in a couple of years, like actually decent size, like a little over an inch. And we were sitting there watching TV, and we got Starlink, so we had that dish, right? But
yep,
I don't want it to get fucked up by hail. And all of a sudden, we just sat down for supper, and it's raining pretty hard. And I'm like, okay. And all of a sudden, I start hearing the boom, boom, boom on the roof. And I'm like, oh no. And I look outside, and there's fucking stones bouncing. They're getting bigger. And I'm like,
yeah,
fuck. So I had to stow the dish so we can't watch TV. We don't have internet. And it actually like it's weird that I watched like the radar and the actual hail core was very small, but it got really intense in a matter of like 5 minutes and then
Yeah.
went away in about 10 minutes.
Hmm.
And I'm like, holy shit. It's so cool how that works because it just the inflow goes so far up into the atmosphere almost, and it just freezes all this shit, and then these stones keep circulating up into there and freezing and accumulating, and then they'll fall at a random point when they're too big for the fucking storm to keep pushing up. So it's like an inch hail is it'll hurt when you're outside, like it'll fuck you up.
Oh yeah.
um
I've been held on. Yeah.
oh dude, me too. And it's like it there there's some people they found like mummified because it was in a frozen area like in Tibet, like in the Himalayas through it
Yeah.
was like in a pass. I don't know if I told you this maybe, but like and there was there was nothing that indicated why all these people, it was like probably 12 a dozen people, were all laying next to each other, no weapon wounds, no nothing like that, no arrows stuck in them, no whatever, but they had holes in their skulls and like
Yeah.
fractured body parts. And they like measured all the bones and like the injuries, and it was about like 2 inches in diameter, but it was consistently, and a lot of them were round or like oval shaped. And they're like, dude, these people got caught out in a fucking hailstorm in the middle of nowhere with no cover, and it got them. And it's like, yeah, hail is, oh man, being hailed on sucks.
Dude, yeah. Yeah. I've
Oh,
been walked. Mm. I've
what
had
was the?
cars get fucked up and yeah.
Do you guys get a lot of hail down where you're at?
I think so. I mean, it's every few years at least. I've never like I remember one time we were I was going to work and I see my neighbor, it hailed, and his garage cover uh completely caved in. It was nuts. And then
Oof.
yeah, it messed. I've seen it just jack cars up on a lot. Like every single car's got just massive dents in
Dense.
it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it can hail pretty bad around here sometimes. But I don't know. It's the wind. I think is what's dangerous a lot of times, especially around here. I used to see this massive tree in my backyard that fell.
Oh, it got one.
Oh yeah, it got like three or
Oh,
four of them, man.
fuck.
It's yeah. So I'll have to get
Yeah.
a chainsaw on the tractor here in a little bit, probably.
Yeah, that's a lot of fucking work. I mean, yeah. Yeah, wind
Yeah,
sucks. It's like
yeah,
it'll fuck up your shingles, which means you have to get a whole roof replacement most of the time. It'll
yep,
fuck up a bunch of shit. Yeah, like when I was a kid, we had a storm come through this little tiny town I lived in, and we got the rear flank downdraft of like a storm that produced tornadoes right after it went past us. And so
yeah,
we got like all this like 100 and something mile an hour wind, and it fucking just snapped trees and uprooted them. Big fucking trees.
yeah,
And like you couldn't drive on the road because there was power lines down everywhere in this little small town and shit. Everybody was out there with their chainsaws and like, everybody was helping each other and shit, but nobody could move because there were so many trees just down. And yeah, wind is, man, it's so powerful.
yeah.
And people hear like 60-mile-an-hour winds. It's like that's cooking.
Dude, in Colorado, uh, this guy I knew, he had a F-150, and it was so windy, and he was getting into his truck, and it ripped his door away from him and like
Oh,
smashed into his front side there. So it
holy
jacked up.
fuck.
Yeah, it was nuts. And Colorado, it would storm, and like they have all those tumbleweeds, so you just see like a mountain of fucking those tumbleweeds coming at you. That was pretty crazy. And you could see the storm coming in Colorado. It was pretty sweet.
Yeah, and they got the mountains there. It's weird how like it'll start forming, like just it'll form off the Pacific, like over California and Nevada and Utah, and then it just like for whatever reason the microclimate of the Rockies affects it, and then it just intensifies. It feeds it almost, or like
Yeah,
whatever. And then yeah, because I've never been to Colorado, but someday I'll go there. But like
sweet.
Yeah, no, I've heard it's fucking beautiful.
Dude, it's gorgeous. It's crowded now.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Where they made weed legal,
yep.
it's just places I would go, and it was just, I mean, just nothing but plains has all houses now, as far as you can see. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, getting fucking all these developments and yeah, it's
Yeah. But
a
if you
lot of
like
places
the
are.
outdoors, I mean, and if you like guns, Colorado, man, they got a lot of gun stores.
Oh yeah, they just have stupid restrictions on shit. But it's like I
Yeah.
know they like if I brought my shit down there on a road trip, like there it doesn't matter because I didn't buy it there. And
Yeah.
so yeah, but there's a lot of places that I've seen in different parts of the state that like they've got like 2 mile ranges, and I'm like I want to push as far out as possible to
Yeah.
see if I can do it. Because it's like I've done I've done up to 1,000, like in the military, and then civilian side 960. So about the same in both with irons. But I'm like, if I could ever, and I know it's not just in Colorado, but it's like Wyoming's got these places too, Montana, places like that where there's just wide open spaces and it's relatively flat in a lot of places.
Yeah.
It's like I want to just see how far I can actually shoot, because I've
Yeah.
never been tested past about a click. Um, like for accuracy shooting, not just like whatever, but like no, I mean, what's the
Yeah.
farthest you think you've ever shot on a range?
Man, on a range, we did the 50 cal range at Benning and at Fort Carson, and those were
Well, yeah,
really
that's
nice.
like 2 fucking miles. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's that's long.
so that was pretty sweet, man. I remember getting up to that 50, and of course, I used it in combat, and I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure I think like two.
fucking power went out. Did you hit something, dude? Okay. Ah, fuck. All right, you're good to go. Yeah.
Sorry,
So, so that's the farthest range you think you've shot, like just period.
like 2000 something. Yeah.
It was like two. It was like. Well, I mean, like, yeah, I suppose. I don't. So, is it for the 50 cal like qual? Is that 2,000? I forgot.
I can't remember.
Yeah,
I
that,
just
that'd be the
remember having
farthest
a
range I've
blast.
shot at then.
Yeah. I
But
That was see, we had the crow system, and you could range how far you're shooting.
right,
So it was like 2,000 meters one time I was shooting at this, you know.
yeah. No,
So
for like as far as like just being on a range, like yeah, the 50 cal range, I suppose. I wasn't thinking military, but now that you bring that up, I think that's the farthest range I've ever shot on at Fort
well, I mean, yeah,
Bliss.
just
Yeah,
civilian. I don't know. I guess like, yeah, like 700. I've shot before, like in Colorado, and then yeah, out here. I'm not sure out here. Probably 500 out here.
I
I'm
mean that's
thinking.
that's still that's still pretty fucking that's decent.
Yeah.
500 yards
Yeah.
is it's a distance, but yeah, because I like even at like just shooting on somebody's land, usually it's like interrupted and it's like you can only shoot a certain distance, even though they've got like because at my buddy's place where I made that 960-yard shot, it was like 1,100 yards, but once you got past a point, it wasn't safe to shoot at the angle because there was
Hmm.
houses like a mile down, and we didn't want to fuck around with that. And so we clocked our last target at 960 yards because it was like a straight farmland parcel. And we started up kind of on an elevated position, and then it would kind of went like this. And then at the very end, where that target was like just coming up on the crest, and we set it right below the crest. So it was 1,000-yard shot if there wouldn't have been a house kind of like a mile down. I mean, we probably wouldn't have hit it, but we just, it's not worth it.
Oh
to
yeah,
put
don't
somebody
risk
in
it.
danger.
Yeah,
No.
definitely
And
not.
so yeah, but like I think that's besides the 50 cal range. I think the 240 range. I know the last target's 800 yards on the range. So
Yeah, I was
yeah, I
about to
mean,
say. Yeah, it's like 800. I've done
yep,
that.
yeah, I do
Uh,
remember that. That was a fun ass range. God
yeah,
damn,
that
was that fun?
was
And
the the saw too. I love
well,
doing
I think the
that.
saw isn't that? Oh, it's on the same fucking range. Yeah, but you don't.
Yeah,
Was the saw qual at 800? I thought I only went out to
I don't
five.
remember. See, I always have more fun with the 240. Of course, I love the saw, but
Yeah,
when they came out with that Mark 48, that thing was fucking sweet.
yeah, and that's your baby. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the
oh
they had
man, yeah,
sex and yeah,
yeah, yeah. I slept with that thing multiple
yeah,
times.
yeah. Those things sound really cool. Like it sounds like the best of both worlds. But
It is. It really is. I was amazed, like how I could just stand and just of course it's a little recoil
yeah,
and rise, but I could hold it, and it surprised me a
yeah,
lot.
because of the 240, man. Good luck.
Yeah,
Good luck. It's not a great shoulder fired weapon at all, like an M60
yeah,
or something like that. It's
yeah,
great mounted on shit. Oh, or just with a bipod.
yeah.
But man, try and fucking hold that thing and shoot it controllably. Good luck. It can be done. I've seen people do it, but it's like uh there are some drawbacks to that weapon and that platform. So if you combine the two and you make it, pretty much a better M60, that sounds good.
I liked them. I never had really an issue with them, but a couple times, like the brass got behind the trigger mechanism, uh, and I don't know how that happened.
Like in the receiver,
Yeah,
like in that little slot. Huh.
hmm and it was like a pain in the dick getting that thing off there.
Yeah.
And but it was always, yeah, it was just too awkward. And then when they gave us those Mark 48s when we got the Keating, and Sergeant Kirk was like, "Man, take that apart and see what that's like, and let's use them." And man, they were fucking sweet.
So did they like just come out like in like '08 or '09? Because I never heard about them or touched them.
Well, they told us, they said, I forget who told me this, but he said that Special Forces were using them,
Oh,
and
okay, okay,
these were like the first, like they're going to give. They approved them, and now they're giving them to like the furthest people out on the front lines, is what they
sure,
said.
okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because yeah, I mean, until yeah, I never even heard about them until you were discussing. I'm like, what do you mean a Mark 48, like a DMR? And you're like, no. And then I looked it up, and I'm like, these things existed, and I couldn't fucking use one. Like that would
Yeah,
have been so much better than a regular 240. Like fuck
yeah,
you. Um,
yeah.
but yeah,
We had,
it's an interesting one. But like, were they used after you were there? Like, did they keep using them?
oh yeah, as far as I know, yeah, we had them the whole point. We even got 8 more, and four of them or three of them went to our platoon, and I got to write, like me and a few other people got to
Oh,
write like a
yeah, like your feedback, basically, right?
yeah, and they give it to FN and shit like that, and it's like I was like, man, that's kick
Damn.
ass. Like,
Yeah. No shit. Yeah. Fucking aim. Like, it's so funny how like some units get like the newest and greatest shit just out of happenstance or like where you're
yeah,
at, and then
yeah,
because I saw fucking line infantry units like using A4s and A2s.
yeah,
I was like, wait a second, it's been, at that point, all that shit had been going on for like 5, 6, 7 years in Afghanistan too. And it's like, well, you'd think that most of the guys that are deploying are gonna get new shit. No, that wasn't the case. And then we had like just regular M4s and like saws and 240s and 203s and shit like that. So it wasn't like I'm not bitching about what we did or didn't have because of our job and everything, but like some guys got really cool shit, and then some guys were still using what we call the muskets.
yeah. You
And
get it's like a mixture. It was weird. I seen that too. I was like, man, those guys have uh, I forget
A2s with
like
those optics on them that mounted on the
yeah.
rail.
You're just
Yeah,
like,
like the Colt op. I'm like, the fuck is that? Like,
but yeah, man, that was. I don't know. Like we were like one of the first guys to get those MATVs. Um, those vehicles, and then what else did we get? Of course, we got that. We got those. Of course, we just called them dirty ACUs, but those.
Oh yeah, UCP Deltas. Yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah,
deltas. Yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah. That was you guys in the 82nd, and I think it was only like one brigade from each, and they were also testing multicam simultaneously with different
yeah,
brigades in 4th ID and 82nd in '09, and then they went with multicam and like the details of the testing and how that worked out and the time, because I do remember like there was some dudes like when I went home on leave in October of '09, um there was like two dudes from Afghanistan wearing multicam, and there's one dude that I remember I saw UCP Delta for the first time. Like a guy had a blouse on, but he had regular UCP pants on,
yeah,
and he was 82nd, and then the other guy from that was wearing multicam was 4th ID. And I was like, "Oh, sweet man, it's fucking multicam! Woo, our uniforms are changing." I didn't realize
yeah,
they were still just testing it, you know.
yeah,
And yeah, it was really interesting, and I didn't know what the fuck. I was like, "Is this some like UCP Delta?" I'm like, dude, wash your shit. And then I'm like looking and I'm like, oh, that's part of the pattern. It was just weird to me, right, to see it in real life.
yeah. That's why we
Multicam,
called them.
yeah,
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 they were
you call
just
them,
like
yeah,
ACU with like Afghanistan thrown in them a little bit,
yeah.
just some
Well,
poop.
yeah, that just dirt and shit. And
Yeah,
then the argument I have with people that are like, well, UCP is fun as long as you get it dirty, which means it's a good camo. I'm like, no, 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 that means that it's not a good camouflage pattern because if you have to get it dirty, everything gets dirty. If it doesn't work right out of the box, at least somewhat, it's not a good pattern. And
yeah.
I will die on that hill. Yeah.
I never liked it. I was disappointed. Like they got away from other things, and I
Well,
don't
yeah, I
know
mean,
that
yeah. Go ahead.
the multicam was the shit. I think I I might be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure the 101st when they ripped with us in Afghanistan, they had multicam. I think I
And
could be wrong.
but that was in 2010, right?
Yeah, and and then they also had these things. I forget what they called them, but they weren't using 203s. They were using some other. Uh,
Whatever the fuck the 30s or the one that they could take off and use standalone.
yes, and you load
Yeah.
it from the side. Like they let me look at it because when we were ripping, they had a bunch of them. I mean, like almost all of them had one. It's crazy, and
Yeah, we got those. My unit got those right before I got out in like 2012. We got those in ACOGs in 2012.
oh
Right
man, you
before I
didn't
was
have
getting out.
ACOGs?
No, we
Wow,
had 68s.
I
And
love 68s. But those ACOGs were the shit. So
well, and that's why I was just telling the story the other night to somebody on my Discord. Like they gave us an ACOG, and they literally it was in the same box that they come in, and they're like, "All right, these are brand new. Slap these on your rifles and go out and qualify." And I'm like, "Okay, easy enough. Cool. I've heard good things about these." I go out there and I got a fucking 19,
yeah,
and I'm like, "Oh, this is a learning curve." But once you get it, they're actually decent. They work,
yeah,
you know.
yeah,
And but it's just I was shooting with both eyes open, and it was fucking up my perception of like where I should be aiming too.
yeah.
And they're like, no, you need to close one eye. And I'm like, can I just fucking use irons? I don't like this. Like, you can't just give me an optic 2 hours before I qualify and then expect me to fucking like a magnified optic. If a 68, sure, whatever, it's zero power. But the ACOG was cool, and then but now I have one, and it's like, oh man, once you learn how to use it and like get the feel of it, they're pretty decent combat optics.
Yeah, they are. I always liked iron sights on cruisers.
Yeah, yeah.
I just felt like you could see a lot of times with cruisers, you're kind of looking where your bullets are impacting and you're
There
adjusting.
you go.
And well, that's how I learned to do it, anyways. And a lot of people did. And not that I wouldn't use iron sights or like anything else, I would. But it's just
But
sometimes
you combine all of that and you kind of just
yeah,
line up where you need to be hitting, and you
yep,
use the iron sights. And if those don't work, you go, okay, well, I'm just going to go from where I was hitting.
Yeah.
because I
Or
didn't
if
have
you're
time
trying to
to
get an
fucking. Yeah.
angle and it's dangerous to
Mhm.
get, I can see where my rounds are hitting and then move my gun and
There you
then,
go.
you know what I mean? Like, so it's just,
Yeah, they tried to give us the M145s, like the L cans, to throw on the feed tray cover and shit for the 240s.
yeah,
I was just like, nah, I'm not comfortable with that because it's a bunch more weight. B, I need to have like, because like I said, I shoot with both eyes open, instinct. Like that's how I grew up shooting. That's just what I'm used to. And if I can have both eyes open and have a full field of view on whatever's going on, it's better. But if I have to sit there and look through an L can, I'm not bitching about the optic itself. The optic, it's heavy, but it works. They're
yeah,
cool. They're built like a brick shithouse. But yeah, it's personal preference. And some guys swore by optics, and that's all they could use to be
yeah,
effective, and that's fine. Gotcha. But yeah, I think we're in the same boat of like we just both like iron sights.
yeah. I'm just saying, and that's it, man. I feel like, and I say this, I get in arguments all the time. I'm like, if you don't have iron sights, I feel like you're combat ineffective. Like if your optic breaks, you're fucked. What do you have? You
Well,
know?
yeah, but here's the thing: is if your
So,
iron sights break, which they can,
oh yeah, they can.
I mean, you're still fine. I mean, so I get that and I agree with you to an
Yeah,
extent, but like, I mean, I just think, I mean, I don't know, it's because I'm lazy, but I don't want to learn a new fucking style of shooting because of one like a sight, right?
hmm,
I just want to be able to like look through the like. That's why I didn't mind 68s, even though I didn't like them per se, and I always flicked up my irons and never turned it on, to be honest.
yeah,
But it wasn't that they were that bad. It was just like I had to like adjust the style that I grew up with, and the style that I ended up using worked. And it's like I don't want to have to fucking change that because I'm worried about all this other shit. And as long as it works, I'm fine with that. And my eyes are good. I think that's a big
yeah,
thing too. Is a lot of people don't have really like. I've always had 20/20. What you're on the same boat? I take it like with your vision.
yeah, yeah.
I
Maybe
think
a
that
little
plays into
less,
it a
man.
lot too because a lot of people like iron sights fuck with them because they can't focus the way you need to
Yeah.
quickly. And
Hmm.
so it's easier for them to just use an optic, which is fine. I don't give a fuck. Like everybody's different. But I think because I've talked to a lot of people that have like 20/20 and have had it their whole lives, and they like iron sights better too. And
Yeah.
so I don't know if
Yeah.
that's got something to do with it, but yeah, I mean it's optics
Yeah.
is
I
just
had
one
great
more thing that can
eyesight.
go wrong. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
And you're right. I think eyesight definitely because I talk to people when I sell optics all, and I'm not anti-optic. I'm not
well, me
saying
either.
that
Yeah,
at all.
nobody is. Yep.
But I'm just saying, like, when I was in combat, me personally, I had my 68 pop off, and I even had that fucker wired
Yeah,
onto my gun, and then I've seen them just get broke and just fucked up, and it's just when you have a backup of sights, it just makes a huge difference
and
because
be able to be proficient with those sights too. Like
right, exactly,
because a
and
lot of people that I noticed they became dependent on the 68 and then they kind of like forgot how to use the fucking
yeah,
irons. It's like, well, no, you should just if you're doing a just a fam fire, flip up your irons through your CCO and just become familiar again with your irons, just so you're proficient
yeah,
with both sets. And but I think people put way too much faith into the optics. That
yeah,
could just be me spouting off, but like I observed it where people like when the optics would go out, they're fucking like you said, they're combat ineffective. Like they're done, they don't know what to do, and I'm like, use your irons. Well, I'm not good with those. Well,
right,
do you know how to use them? Yeah. Well, then use them. That's it. Like, and
yeah,
that doesn't just apply to combat. That applies to like anything you're doing. If you're out hunting, target shooting, doing 3-gun, a lot of
hmm,
people rely on optics. I've noticed,
oh
and
yeah,
like EOTechs, I like EOTech. Right? They work. I've shot 3 guns with them. They're efficient. They're effective. They're not for everyone, but people put all their faith into this. I've also had them go out while I was doing a 3-gun on my FAL because it jarred it. It fucked the battery up, the contact of the battery up just enough to where it went out. And so I just went and went down to the irons on
yeah,
the FAL. But it's like people, they were so like, oh, since I spent $2,000 on this optic, it's gonna work all the time. It's not gonna get fucked up. The zero's gonna hold. Not true. Not true at all.
I've
And
never seen it. Yeah. And it, you know, like you said, your battery will die. Something will fucking happen. Now, I'm just talking me personally. I'm just talking combat. I mean, you can have whatever you want. You can have whatever sight, or you know, you could have no sight and shoot whatever floats your boat. I'm just saying,
Right.
like uh, me personally, I was just talking combat wise. Like
I get
it's
that, but it,
yeah,
it does apply to like every style of shooting because it does. There's a
yeah,
lot of crossover, and like I think I mean there's a lot of people who do put value in iron sights because
yeah,
it's the OG. It's going to be reliable. If you can shoot better with optics, then fucking do that. But I would advise also to just learn how to use your iron sights and have them on your. That's the one thing I don't like about the ACOG, honestly, is the fact that the relief is such that you have to have it on the rail to where you can't have your backup irons on there effectively. And even if you
mhm,
have them on there, you can't fucking flip it up, right?
right,
That's the one gripe I have with that whole system. And then they're like, well, there's irons on ACOGs. Well, yeah, but they're fucking, they're V notch
yeah,
and they're very low axis, like very close together. I mean,
yeah,
there's that, but yeah, it doesn't boil down to personal preference at all, in just any situation. But
oh yeah,
yeah, but no, I mean, fucking
yeah.
optics are fun.
They
They are
are, and I
fun.
was just getting ready to say that. I've seen some
Yeah.
kick-ass optics.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
you know, we sold all different types. Trigicon makes some great optics. We sold a bunch of those. They're pretty pricey.
That's the
Um,
problem I have is I'm like, dude, you guys have been in business since the 90s and your prices haven't changed.
no,
They haven't increased, they haven't decreased. They're the same. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, were you overcharging? Because they're okay. Trigicon is good. I'm not bitching about the quality at all, but I'm bitching about the price. I'm like, well, if you have been doing this much business and gotten all these government contracts over all the years and just sold a shitload on the civilian market, why is it still $1,200 for a fucking TA-31 RCO? Like just a standard fucking ACOG for an A4. Like, why is it $1,200 when I know they can make the same quality and then sell them for 5 to 6.
yep,
I know that. Like I don't know what's going on, but that's my only bitch. Really, is the price. But you still, I mean, they work, so you sell a lot of them. Yes.
yeah. Um, Vortex and Leupold and let's see. Some of the older. I had a Nikon scope. I forget what it was, what model or whatever, but it worked just fine. Never had a
Yeah.
problem. I got a Burris scope with a Plex. I forget the reticle on, but it's sweet, and it's a like I got it on one of my ARs. It's fucking awesome, you know. But uh, iron sights too is like a challenge as well. You know what I mean? Like it it means something if you can shoot with iron sights, you know. But also too, I sold like optics to older guys. They just can't see them damn, like you were saying. You know,
There you
vision's a
go.
huge thing, and they just can't see the fucking iron sights. You know,
Well, they can't
I
get
had a
the
guy.
relief. They can't get the relief, like the focus.
Yeah, I had a
And
guy.
yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, no, no. I was just yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying he brought in a AR, and he's an older dude, and he's like, man, I don't like it. He's like, I was like, what didn't you like about it? You know, I was buying it off of him,
Yeah.
and he was just like, well, it's ugly as fuck, and you know, I don't like the sights. He's like, I'm a lever action guy, and I like something with wood, and I don't give a shit if it shoots 30 range. Like, I was like, yeah, all right, valid point.
Okay.
I was
All
like,
right. Yep.
yeah,
Fair
no
enough.
problem. I get that. I get that.
Yeah. And I mean, again, it's all personal preference. Like,
Oh yeah,
I I've always kind of been of this. Well, for most of my adult life, I've been of this mind. I was an asshole for a couple of years. But like, it's like, dude, whatever you're proficient with, whatever you like, whatever your style, if it's a fucking lever action 30-30 or 264 Winchester, whatever the fuck you want to do. If you're proficient with that and you can hit whatever target you need to hit with it, and you're happy with it, so be it. But it gets annoying for me when like people are like judging and like berating others for liking different things. and different brands, different styles, blah blah blah. And there's a recent. I'm not going to name him because I don't want to fucking start any internet drama. It's not about that, but there's a dude who's been going around because he's doing it intentionally to get. It's a kind of a engagement farm, where people just do controversial shit, clickbait title. I've done it. That's how I know what he's doing.
Mm.
I've done it when I was in a really bad point in my life, and he's doing this, and he's bitching about a certain brand of AR, and he's just kind of feeding into the people going, "Why are you doing this?" Whatever. Oh, your tears are delicious, shit like that. Like whatever he's saying, it's like, what are you doing? Like, and he's saying that this certain brand is completely bullshit because it's cheap. If you wanna get the best weapon and protect your life, you need to spend all this extra money and get a better brand. And it's like, okay, that can be true. Both things can be true at once, right? Yes, a lot of more expensive weapons are made better. They're expensive for a reason, right?
Mm.
They might last you 1,000 more rounds, 2,000 more rounds. They might take a little bit more of an ass beating out in the field. Okay, but also a firearm that'll do almost the same shit doesn't may not have as good of tolerances and whatever, but still works and puts rounds down range and doesn't fail most people, myself included, because I own several pieces from this company. Again, I don't want to at all feed into the drama, so I'm not even going to name what he was talking about besides the basic details. Um, I've had a bunch of those for years and fired tens of thousands of rounds through a lot of them, and fine by me.
Yeah.
It works. They're accurate. They do what I need them to do, right?
Yep.
And yeah, so they're cheaper, but it doesn't mean necessarily that your opinion is correct. And so
Right.
it's correcting itself. Like people are calling him out. And I was just like, man, like we were talking about with that one guy, like I think you need a hug. It's one of those situations. It seems
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Mm, yeah.
like man, I hope you're all right. Like because this is kind of rash shit, and it's like it's not really doing anything great, and it's not going to pay off the way you think it's going to. But things like that, it's not just him either. That's just the most recent thing that's kind of because it's a trend. That's why I think he chose to do that. Is like shitting on other brands or styles of weapon or whatever. It's like, dude, hey, we all like the same thing. We all enjoy the same hobby, right? Why the fuck do you have to think that your opinion is better or your preference is better and push that on people and try and make people feel like shit and not worthy? I mean, it does boil back to him not feeling worthy, but that's psychology, and I don't want to fucking do that. But like, why do you feel the need to do it? Like, how about you just go, oh, cool, right on. Let's go shoot some
Yeah.
guns. Fucking A. It's fun as shit. Like, but that I see that a lot in this house. It's oh my god. Have you ever seen welding videos on Facebook or no, you don't have Facebook.
Yeah.
Anywhere on the internet? Have you seen welding videos? Look at the
Yeah.
comments. Holy shit, are those people assholes? Like,
That's why I get out of. I.
yeah,
I think we've talked about this
yeah.
before. It's like I love guns and I like just I guess the gun culture, but just the people in it, man. It's just so negative all the time, and everybody just argues and bitches. Like I don't want to be a part of it.
I
Or
do not blame you at all. Like, it's.
Just like when
I'll
people
note.
do that to
Yeah.
me, I just walk away. I'm like, okay, and I just go on about my business.
Yep.
And
And I'll
because
notice when I'm in a bad frame of mind, I'll start actually reacting to them, right?
right,
And it's like when I'm in a good state of mind and like everything's going well and whatever, it's like I can just brush. I don't even look at it, right? But
yeah,
it's like this like misery loves company sort of thing, where when you're not having a good time, it's so easy to feed into that fucking negativity and just
yeah,
well, you're a fuckhead for being a fuckhead. Well, then now I'm the fuckhead, because
right,
I'm doing the same
yeah,
shit.
exactly. You kind of feel, yeah, and
Well, that's
you,
social media in general. It can be very negative, and it seems to be that's what's pushed is the negativity because it's more engagement. People are more focused on negative shit versus like, hey man, that weld looks good. I'm glad you're learning. It's like who's gonna fucking die from that weld? Unless it's like a
yeah,
blatantly obvious funny troll video, which is also for attention. But it's like, dude, welding. I know nothing about it. I've done basic bitch welding, It's fun. It's challenging. It's
Yeah.
cool. It's really interesting. But I think it's anything that you get into, like guns or just history in general, which I've been guilty of and trying to be better at lately. You feel the need to berate others, and I don't. The reasons are like there's a bunch of them. I think because it comes from your own shit,
Yeah.
and it's like I don't know why people are just so fucking. Instead of supporting each other, they're always just trying to tear each. It's like the crabs in the crab pot, right? If a
Yeah.
crab tries to escape that, the rest of them will pull it back down. Be like, no, we're down here. You're staying with us, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And I think that's how society has become, unfortunately, or it makes it seem that way. But
Yeah, it seems that way. Well, at least in like you were saying, like in welding or whatever, or the internet, it's just because a lot of people they can get away with what they're saying, and you should be able to say what you want to say, but I don't know, it's just too negative a lot of the
there you
times. It's
go.
just, man, you're like,
Yeah,
dang, just
there's a
that's
way to give
sad.
feedback. There's a way to
I,
give feedback that's constructive.
yeah, I actually feel bad for people who are negative all the time. Like I'm
Me
like, man,
too.
because I've been there. I've years ago, I've been there, and you don't, you just, it's so corrosive, and no one wants to be around you, and like
There you go.
it's
Yep.
just, yeah,
And yeah, that's just observations, but it's. I mean, and here's the thing: is right now we're focusing on the negative, but there are so many people online who are fucking very cool and willing to help others out and be like I did see this one welder. He's like, hey man, I've been doing this for X amount of years. You did a good job. I can tell, I guess, where you're at in your things, but um, you might want to change this up and this up because of this, this, and this. But you otherwise did a good job. And the person actually responded and said, "Oh, I hadn't thought of that."
right,
He's like, "This is what's worked for me in the past." Blah blah blah. And then you might want to try this. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I hadn't thought of that. That's a good idea." Bam. Was that fucking difficult? No,
no, no,
no.
and that's how I am. I always come at it like one of my favorite sayings of all time is like, no one knows everything, no one knows nothing, so we're all in the
There
middle.
you go.
Let's get along, and
Yeah.
just try to, because you'll meet people like, man, you're such a fucking dumbass, and I'm like, dude, it's like, where would he learn this? Like, it's one thing to act like a certain way and act like a dumbass, but if you're just truly just, you just don't know, and you're ignorant on the situation, that's the other thing. You gotta have thick skin sometimes when people, not be too sensitive to because criticism in any way, people are just like, fuck you.
Well,
um
I think that stems from a feeling of feeling inadequate to begin with,
right.
and then you're trying to like put something out there that's like, "Oh, I've got this figured out. I'm doing a good job,"
Yeah.
and then people just go, "No, no, 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 you don't have it figured out." And then you go, "Fuck, I'm not good enough. Fuck," and then it just comes out as anger and like you're lashing out at someone else
Right.
because of how you're feeling. And it's like, and I get that. I totally get that. It's a human reaction to an emotion that you're feeling and a thought that you're telling yourself. And I mean, I'm trying not to do that anymore because I've done it for years.
Yeah.
And it's
Oh,
like
it's a
just at least,
process.
oh, it's a pro. I mean, it's basically like changing your way of thinking
Yeah.
that you're so used to for so long.
Yep.
And society, like, I mean, people in general, I think a big thing too is people feel like they're alone in the way they think or feel or react to things. And I think that certain people in power, not just the government, but like in power in general, kind of like use that to push things to get control. And it makes people feel more out of control, like they're so alone, they're isolated, like nobody else thinks like they do, they're broken, blah blah blah. But it's not really true if you look at it. Like people are we need each other. That's the thing. Is like
Yeah.
we're wired that way and we can all work together and we can you cut out again. It's all good. Oh, that's right. We're doing a live stream. Yeah. Yeah. You're good.
Well, it's Saturday. Everybody calls me on Saturdays, so
Oh, okay. Yeah, no worries. We can wrap it up soon anyway, but like, yeah, it's just kind of a fun life is a fun process.
it is. You just got to be like a understanding, and they call me the de-escalator at work because I'm good at like, hey, whoa, let's calm
Yeah.
down. Like, hey, man,
Let's
you're
figure it out.
breathing.
Yep.
Like, dude, you go over there. Like, just go on about just don't need any problems. We don't need any, we don't need negativity or anything going on. It's just, man. And you're right. It's like you have to train yourself to be like that. It's like changing your whole mindset. Like,
And it doesn't happen just overnight. It takes.
no, it's a process. I still get angry too, but then me now. I'll get angry, and I'm angry for like maybe 5 minutes, and I'm acting like a fucking idiot. Like, I'm like, I just
And
need
then
to
it's
take a
like
deep breath,
thinking
calm down.
through that too of like, why am I angry?
Right.
Does it make sense? Is it justified? And then
Yeah.
how to mitigate your behavior, even though it's easier said than done a lot of
Yeah.
times because you get to a point where it's like, well, you just kind of go into a mode
Yeah.
where you can't think about that shit at the moment, and then it's like, but yeah, I mean, I think people just get they just escalate so quickly nowadays because everybody's just kind of like their shit filter's already full, right? Of
Yeah.
things that have not been dealt with because of the way society is and people are and whatever. That they anytime something just little happens, it's just like that's fucking what sets you off,
Yeah.
and you can't handle it. And it's like, well, yeah, I hope we can get to a place as a people that that's at least mitigated a lot more on a larger scale, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting though. It definitely is. But I
It's
mean,
a what I've noticed, man, is positivity can be contagious for people.
yeah,
Like, they see it and they see, like, one thing I tell myself, like, if something's happening to me, I'm just like, well, I'm breathing.
yeah,
You
that
know what I
that that
mean?
is
Like, I'm
that
not
is a
dead.
positive thing. That's
Yeah.
a And
My
if you don't
kids
know
are
where
here.
else, yeah, if you don't know where else to start because you can't think of anything positive, that is a good place to start. Is I'm
Yeah.
alive, I'm breathing, we're good,
Yeah.
we're good. Work
Well,
up
it's
from
just
there.
it'll calm you down. Like, it's because you already know that life is peaks and valleys, so
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
kind of grounding you, like, just,
Yeah, there you go. And it's just, I mean, every person also deals with things differently,
yeah, absolutely, that's true.
and it's, I mean, no, I mean, but your ways, it could probably help a lot of people if you think about it that
Well,
way.
I had to
Just
learn to
even,
be like that, and that's what we're saying.
yeah,
I used to be so fucking just negative and just, I would even say selfish, just thought the world owed me something, or and it
that's
doesn't. It
where I've
doesn't
been
owe me
at
shit.
for years, and
Yeah.
it's not just because of military shit. It's other things that have happened in life,
Right.
whatever. But like, it's that's kind of where I've been at for years, and now I'm starting to try and rewire things and reframe things to think differently and not be so fucking negative and not get caught up in that shit and not let it like the crab pot analogy, not let it do that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's easier said than done, but it's not impossible by any means, any stretch of the mind. It's not.
Yeah.
And, and yeah, you're gonna have setbacks and shit like that, and like it's not just gonna be oh once you oh I'm cured, I know the answer, because I learned this tool and this tool. It's like no 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 no. There's times where it's challenging, and
Oh yeah. Yeah.
so
I could, and the people trying to drag you down, you just kill them with kindness, really, and it works a lot. I mean, uh,
yeah yeah
it, it's
yeah it
it's
does.
it's it's hard to be like, I knew this guy, man. I fucking hated his guts, but he was an all right guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just, fuck you,
Oh
but
yeah.
and it's just, but I wouldn't say anything to him or do anything to him or nothing. It's just like, and that was years ago, but it's just like you were saying, like, everyone deals with shit different. Everybody, can only take certain amount of people or how they act for so long, or they just instantly don't like someone. But you got to be able to just let it go and just kind of move on.
Well, and also like the whole not liking somebody just like immediately without even having said word one, you just see them in the public.
Yeah,
I actually figured that out recently why I do that, and it's not a good reason, but it's now I can recognize it and like try and change that method of thinking. It's basically I'll look at somebody and be like, they wouldn't be able to help me if things popped off right now,
right.
and that's literally like the baseline thought of like that causes me to be in danger. I cannot rely on this person. They're just going to get in the way. Therefore, I fucking hate them. And it's
Yeah,
like I've
yeah,
never talked to that person at
yeah,
all. It's just by the way they look. They did nothing wrong
yeah,
at all. But that's the so when you get down to that like kind of method of thinking of like analyzing why you're thinking that,
right,
and
right, yeah,
but it again, it's like holy because when it happens, it's like you don't just go into like, oh well, this is why I'm thinking this, and okay, hey buddy, how you doing? Overcompensating? No, it's just like, okay, how many times have I been in this store? How many times has shit popped off? Zero.
right,
What are the
yeah,
odds that's just an average person who's there doing the same fucking thing I am, and they're not going to be a problem either way,
yeah,
no matter what
exactly,
happens. And
yeah,
and that I think people have that weird kind of survival mentality with just people in general.
yeah,
And on the internet, it makes it a lot easier because, like Zeno said in the chat, it's about just say whatever you want to say without consequence. Because in that situation, I'm not going to go up to that person and be like, "You're a fucking inferior piece of shit because you couldn't handle this, whatever." No, 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 no. But on the internet, if there's no consequences, it's a lot easier because
right.
and that's I think a problem. But I don't know how to fix that one. But it's not my. All I can do
No,
is just not be a part of it. It's like it's
yeah,
one of
that's
those
it. You
things.
you police yourself, man.
There
That's
you go.
that's that's what
Because
it is.
that's the
And
one thing you have control over
yeah,
is your actions and your
yeah.
thoughts.
See, I let
So
people. If someone gets on my nerves, I just realize like, hey, that's kind of how they are. I'm not going to be able to change them, or anything like you said. You don't want that to affect how you're thinking or how you treat someone. So I
there
just
you go.
usually let them be. And the times we do interact, I'm just super polite and professional, and I go on about my business,
There you go.
Uh, and it works really well. But me honestly, like I really do wish the best for everybody. If I can help people, I do. But that goes with some people are enabled by that, but you know what I mean. Like you try your best to just be a
For
decent
sure.
person. I think it'll be all right.
Exactly. And that's all I'm trying to do. And that's what I think
Yeah.
I think most people honestly are trying to do that.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
And
Hmm.
I don't think the world's as negative as it's portrayed recently.
Right.
So
It just
it's
seems like you're saying. It just seems like that. So like when uh, the people are having economic hard times, or financial, or their loved one died or whatever the case is. You don't ever know what's going on with people, so I try to keep that in mind too. You don't know
right.
what they're going through. So
Yeah,
I try to keep
exactly.
that in mind.
So yeah, I mean, that's the best we can do. So
Yeah, man.
um but yeah, this fucking dude, I really want to learn how to make like BDUs and shit because this would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd
Would
be the
it not?
shit.
Like, I mean, that's a fucking sick pattern. I love this thing. And so I tried to figure out what it was. And people were like, "Oh, it's multi stripe," and I'm like, "Yeah, but that if you look at the like, if you Google the pattern like multi stripe, it doesn't look like this does.
Hmm.
This is literally something that's just like I saw it and was like, that looks fucking cool. I'm gonna grab some, but dude, it's the coloring is a lot better than regular multicam. It's more green than it is tan.
Yeah, I noticed that. I like that.
So yeah, but yeah, the other helmet covers too. They're fucking. It's so cool to like the sewing shit. It's tedious and it takes a while, but it's really rewarding, especially with the pouches and shit. When you get a pouch done, you throw some mags in there. You're like ripping on it to make sure all the seams are good. It's like, wow, this is fucking sweet, man. This is actually
Yeah.
functional. You know, carry a radio or
Yeah.
candy bars or whatever the fuck you want in it. You know,
Yeah.
and
No,
yeah,
they
it's
look great,
crazy.
man. That's awesome. I'm gonna have to get me one eventually.
Well,
Uh,
what's your favorite camouflage pattern? First of all,
dude, I hate to do. I like so many.
okay, I know
It's
it's a bullshit question that I always
yeah.
bitch at people. Okay, so for where you live most of the time of the
BD.
year,
I love BDU, man. That's
M81,
80. Yeah, it's
basic
that's
bitch M81. Oh God.
yeah. I love that shit.
Okay,
But
if you
that's
if you
what
had
I
to have a
grew up,
second,
like wearing
yeah,
and shit.
yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Your second, if you had to choose, if M81 wasn't available for where you live most of the time of year, what pattern would you like the best?
God. Oh no, I had to think on that one honestly.
See, that's the thing is like people that just go M81 or Tiger Stripe, like it's like yeah, that's fine, like that's valid, but like there's so many cool patterns out there.
There's someone outside my house right now. Hold on. Hold on. Be right back.
Yeah.
It's like an Amazon.
I
That's
was gonna say some delivery because it is Saturday. I was like, I thought it was Sunday for a second. I'm like, who's gonna do that on a Sunday?
Amazon's delivered on Sundays sometimes. I was like, what the fuck? But
FedEx does too once in a while.
yeah,
Like they'll show up and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? It's Sunday. They're like, well, we're
yeah,
running extra. Okay.
yeah. I don't know. I have to get back to you on that. I like a lot of stuff, and I can't remember all the fucking names. I never can, but
Well, I mean, it's a pretty impossible question to answer besides like
yeah,
the
dude. Well, I
go-to.
mean, I was thinking about God. What was I thinking about the other day? It was like everybody calls it chocolate chip.
Yeah, Six Color Desert. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I had like some pants and like a vest one time in that shit.
This
And when
shit.
I was a kid, yeah, that I love that shit, dude.
Dude,
Um,
it's actually highly effective. Like it's getting to be fall here. When everything's dead and like brown and shit,
yeah,
this is such an underrated fucking pattern for that time of year.
I love it, man.
Oh,
Man, I don't know what happened to those. Of course, I could my fat ass can fit in them now, but uh,
bullshit. Bullshit.
yeah, I don't know. I'd have to see.
Do you still wear a large
Yeah,
top?
large, long.
Huh. Somebody might. No, I think I sold that, didn't I? Fuck. I had a
That's
large
all
long.
good.
I had
I'll
a
find
fucking
some.
large long, like for in the hopes that I thought I was gonna lose weight a lot faster than what actually happened, and but I ended up selling that. But no, you can still get the legit ones, the BDUs, because this is an extra large regular, so it's a little short on my torso, but it's got the old Elvis Presley collar on it,
Yeah.
the big son of a bitch, and yeah, it's funny too. You got to check this out. So this is I put my name and the first ID patch on, right?
Okay.
This is also dated 1980 86, right? This came standard with it on it from the factory. And it's on the right shoulder. What do you notice about it?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's faced the wrong way. Yeah.
That's before they started doing that, like after the first Gulf War. So you see some guys with this on, and dude, I've been corrected so many times in videos like you have the patch on the wrong way. It's like, yeah, I fucking know it's on the wrong way,
Yeah.
dipshit. I fucking wore one for 4.5 years the
Yeah.
right way. And but I'm like, no, this is literally from the factory, and they didn't start doing this, and this is evidence of that. But yeah, it came with the U.S. Army tape and then the flag on it, and so it's like, yeah, just basically throw your name and unit patch, and then the collar insignia, of course. But like, this is the way it came, and that's fucking awesome. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
These are so cool. And a couple years back, like this place I was getting shit from had a bunch of these like good sizes, and I got a bunch of extra large shit. Made a bunch of shorts out of some of the like because they had extra large, extra short
Yeah.
like pants. And so I was like, fine, fuck it. I'm gonna grab some and cut them off and hem them. So now I've got some 6-color shorts that I wear in the summer. People are like, where the fuck did you get those? I'm like, I'm a nerd. But
Yes.
yeah, dude,
If I see it, I want it. I'll try to buy it, man. Like anywhere I can. Flea markets where I usually found cool
they'll
shit.
pop up. Like I
Yeah.
honestly 6 color is not bad. As far as a desert pattern goes, or like a like
It just
dead
looks,
shit.
I I like goofy ass camo too. Like it's not purposely goofy. It just I forget the name. Like I used to get like anything camo when I was a kid. Like I would just buy it if I could. It was just I love camo growing up.
That's why it's so fun nerding the fuck out making these helmet covers because it's like,
Yeah.
well, I've got like almost 30 fucking patterns now that I have.
Oh damn.
Yeah, dude, it's just like, oh, I'm gonna buy this fabric, and I'm like nerding
Yeah.
out over, oh, this is such a sweet ass pattern. And then the helmet cover gets done. It's like, oh, this is great. Yeah, Alpenflage, like the Swiss shit,
Yeah.
the red shit, that's awesome up here in the fall too. Like in
Oh
the
no.
leaves. There's that
Yeah.
because yeah, that might be good. Have you ever worn that like down?
No. No, I
It's
never.
surprisingly effective in the fall
Interesting.
with all the dead leaves and shit. But yeah, Cad Pat too. That's what works. See up here, it's like really fucking green in the summer,
Hmm.
like really dark. Like, and there's like this weird kind of what I call relish green that M81 is too dark up here and too brown in the summer.
Okay.
But like the Canadian shit works great, and then like a lot of the World War II German patterns, like Palm works good. Um, and then the Finnish stuff, the Finnish MO5 works pretty
Yeah.
well up here. But it's too green for a lot of the other parts of the country. And like Flecktarn works good where you guys are at, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's
Yeah.
too dark for up here. It's like too orange and dark
Yeah.
in the summer. In the fall, you're invisible. You're absolutely invisible wearing Flecktarn up here in the fall. But yeah, it's once I start making BDUs, I'll hit you up, and that's what I'm asking because I wanna get people, my friends and stuff like whatever camouflage pattern they love that you can barely get BDUs in.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to have a set just to fuck around with their wear. So
Yeah. I'm like,
um,
yeah, I'll let you know, man, and I'll see you. You always post shit, so I see what you're doing sometimes. You post shit. I'm like, man, I've never seen that before, and it's fucking dope. And,
dude, the nerdery is strong, but it's like, yeah, I mean, it's fun as shit. It's therapeutic, it's relaxing, and it makes people happy, and I can make a couple bucks off of it. Bam.
there you
There-
go.
It's like
That's what it's
yeah,
about, man.
it's fucking awesome. But yeah, so how's life going with you just in general? Just good to go?
Oh, yeah, dude. It's going. Like I said, I got over being sick for like 3 weeks. It was fucking awful.
What did you have?
I got like that. Well, I told you about like the intestinal shit. Like I forgot to take
Oh,
my meds for like 3 days, and it fucked me up. So I think that was 2 weeks of it, and then my kids got sick, and I guess it was the flu or something, man, and it just fucked me over.
oh, so you were sick, and then they got sick, and then you got sick with what they had?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, fuck.
it was awful. I'll never do that. I'll never miss. Sometimes I just forget. You're supposed to take it twice a day, and sometimes I just forget at night. So it
Yeah,
kind of will fuck you up if
yeah,
you don't take it. I'm like, damn. But how I
yeah.
need to
Because
permanently fix it is to completely change my diet, and I'm just not there yet. I'll have to. I'll have to wait.
it it's not as hard as you might think it is to do. It's just like your mental stuff, like trying to change it. It's
Yeah.
doable,
Oh, I
but
know. I've done it before. It's just
yep,
with the
yeah.
kids, and I'm just busy. I work 50 hours a
Fuck
week.
yeah,
Like,
fuck
you
yeah.
know,
It's
I
tough.
just
Like
it's hard to do. Um, So I'm waiting till some financial stuff, like we're finishing up, like what I was telling you about getting the other part of that land, and
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
Well, that
so
also contributes to like your body being stressed and like,
oh, dude, a hundred
oh
percent,
fuck, like
yeah,
you cannot get over shit when your body's just under stress outside of being sick. It's like
yeah, and just
fuck.
the economy and just shit like that, and
Yeah, man.
it's just you just it just stresses you the fuck out. But other than that, I've
Um,
been doing pretty good. My kids are doing good. That's really what matters, you
it
know.
is, yeah, but like you still got to be good. You got to be good for your kids. But like,
Yeah,
yeah, that whole thing. Like, I've been dealing with that stomach stuff for years, and there are ways to change your diet for your whole family that they won't even notice.
yeah,
Like where it's fine for you and like everything's normal. There are so many like alternatives and like camouflaged foods
hmm,
that will not make you sick and everybody else just loves and enjoys. So yeah, if you ever have questions on that, like I've been dealing with it for like actually cognizant of it for 7-ish years now. So I
yeah,
kind of
and
like learned
yeah,
workarounds and um it's fucking annoying though because it's like when you're going out and stuff, you're like, I don't know what I can have or what I can't.
right,
And you're like, fuck. And then it's just a learning curve. And then you're also afraid to ask the waiter or waitress because it's like, well, I don't want to be that annoying cocksucker
yeah,
that you know what I mean? But
yeah.
no, it's
I'm just
definitely,
yeah.
yeah,
I stayed away from just like obviously fast food, but just any like just greasy, just fucking
yeah,
nasty restaurant. Just I say, and we try to cook our own. And then they had some issues with their meat from the
yeah,
grocery store, and I was like, fuck, like
yeah.
nothing's for sure.
No, it's not. And like everybody's body and gut biome is a lot different too. So it's
Yeah.
like, it's insane. But, it's, it's, it's not impossible at all. And
No,
what's good
I've
is
done
like,
it. Yeah.
but we live in the era that we do now, and like there's so many people that have that there are so many alternatives versus like 20 years ago. Ha, good luck,
Yeah. Exactly.
you're fucked. But like now, it's a lot more easy to mitigate. So, but yeah, I mean, besides that, and then you being sick, everything, and the whole real estate thing, like everything going good.
Oh, dude, yeah, it's going great. I love the. I work 50 hours a week, but I love my job. And then uh, the kids are doing great. Like I said, wife's doing good. She's been able to stay home with them, and so
Nice.
um, yeah, it's pretty good. But just buying the land, real, all that shit. It's just it drains you financially. So I won't be able to buy any guns or anything for a while.
Yeah. Def like I can't even imagine how bad it is now because like we bought this place in 2019
Yeah,
and it was like, oh, this should be wrapped up in 3 weeks. Well, 3 months later of every fucking day it being stressful and oh, we need this. Oh, this is probably not going to work out. Oh, you need to do this. You need to do that. You need to come up with this amount of money before then and do this
yeah.
and do that and prove that it's like every fucking day and it just wears. I mean, wears you down to the point where you're like, fuck it, I don't even want it anymore. Fuck it, it's not worth it.
Well, it stresses you out, and you know, you're just trying to make it, man, and have things,
Yep.
and it's just you bust your ass, and then sometimes it's just not enough, and when the economy just sucks ass in a lot of ways, it's hard. Like
Right.
gas is killing. Like I had 3 cars. I had to sell one of them. I sold the one I didn't like the most.
Oh yeah. Right on.
Just couldn't keep up 3 vehicles. It's
No,
like
I mean
it's getting
shit's
ridiculous.
really fucking
Yeah,
it's rough. I mean, like
yeah,
I've tried to talk to my parents about it, right?
yeah,
And they've had rough times, okay? They've done their thing. And all they keep saying when I'm like, "Yeah, things are pretty fucking interesting right now." Like it's pretty bad for a lot of people. They're like, well, we lived through Carter, and I was like, oh, so 4 years of a shit show. We've lived through 20 years of a shit show,
Yeah.
and that's all they say is like we lived through Carter, and I'm like, okay, but that doesn't help right now. Like that doesn't say anything, and
Yeah.
like whatever. But I'm just like, that's why I don't even bring it up to him anymore. I'm just like, yeah, everything's good. It could be worse. We could be under Carter.
Dude, they like, yeah, I don't know. This is the worst I've ever seen it.
Yeah, same.
I'm almost 40, but I don't know. Groceries are fucking high. I mean,
Oh
I
my
don't want to
God,
get,
are they?
yeah, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I
No, we don't.
probably
We
got
don't
about
need
five
to.
more minutes in me, though.
No,
I'll
that's
have
fine, dude.
to
Yeah,
call
I'm
the
gonna take
wife.
off and go fucking sew some more helmet covers together. I'm on the last step of a lot of them, just putting the 550 cord in there, the drawstring.
Yeah.
I try to get them all like that stack that I sent you a picture of. Those are all good except for the last step. Like those have all been all the tedious steps and shit, all these different patterns. And the last step is the most satisfying. So I like to do them all at once. So I get that big dopamine hit of like 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that order's done. Excellent. And then like all that shit. But yeah, it's fun. I mean, yeah, things are okay, right? Or they're like not okay right now, but we'll get through it. Like everybody will get through it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're still here, man. We're still chugging.
Yep.
We're
We're
just,
still chugging, and it's like it'll get better. Like,
oh, yeah.
and we're sitting here on our internet. Your power was restored after several hours, but still, like, if things were not good at all, you'd still be without power right now for
Oh, yeah,
days.
absolutely. Yeah,
So it's like, yeah,
100%.
things
Yeah.
are totally fucked.
Oh, it could be way worse.
Oh
That's for
fuck yeah,
sure.
it
That
could
is
be way
for
worse.
sure.
But no, everything's. That's why I was just checking in and seeing how you're doing, and no, it's good to hear you're doing all right. And that thing about the land is super fucking cool too. By the way, that's awesome.
Thanks. Appreciate
Like
that. That's
that's you've
five
been
years,
talking about
man.
that. Yeah, you've been
Yeah.
talking about that since I've known you, and now that it's finally fucking done,
Yeah.
that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna set up like a nice longer range. Um and then yeah, man. Just it's just different when you completely own it. It's just completely different. So I'm
Oh,
excited.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
like that. That's the thing is there's a lot of people our age and younger who just cannot afford to own shit, and I'm like, I get it. I'm not looking down on you. And like you just said, you went through a fucking process, and you've got everything going for you. Like
Yeah.
as far as like credit and all that shit, like you've got everything good, and it was still a process for you. So it's like,
Yeah, dude.
fuck. I mean,
Yeah,
I,
the banks are just like economy sucks. That's just like whatever I heard. It's like I get it. But
right? Yeah, I'm living.
yeah,
Are we in the same fucking world right now? Yes, we are.
yeah.
I get it.
But
But yeah, there's
but
people that I
we
know
found a
like
good bank, and they helped me with one of my FJ loans, and they're fucking they were kick ass. So
yeah,
uh,
and that's really good. I mean, it sucks that it fucking had to go through the ringer of the rigmarole
yeah,
and all that shit. But like, no, it's gonna be so fucking worth it. And so you say you're putting a range on there. Do you have like a long part of it?
yeah,
That's
I got
like,
a long part. There's a couple I have to. My buddy's like he's like in his 70s, and he's like a sniper from the Marine Corps, and
yeah,
he's made ranges and shit, and he shoots
yeah.
in competitions. So I'm gonna get his input and see what he thinks. But I definitely have I have a mountain, or not a mountain, but a giant ass fucking hill, and uh, I'll probably shoot into that.
Oh yeah.
But
What do
I
you
don't know. I'm
estimate
more
the
excited.
range? What do you estimate so far?
Oh,
Like
I
how
think the
far?
farthest I could shoot would probably be like 500 yards.
Damn, that's still a fucking.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, probably 400 or 500. I might be overthinking it, but it I know it's way more than 300. I know that.
Yeah,
So
that's fucking
we'll
awesome.
see.
That's gonna be so much fun, dude. Like, just sitting there having a shitty day, go out there and relax, be mindful in the moment, and just fucking squeeze that trigger and hear that bing
Yeah,
at 400 or 500 yards. That's gonna be fucking awesome.
yeah, I
So
can't wait, man. And I camp. I mean, I told you that I camp, and we like to be outside and do stuff outside. So
Yes, you'll have all the room for that. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But I appreciate it, man. I got to call the wife and
Yeah, all
and
good, man. I'm gonna go back to sewing some more helmet covers. Good chatting with you as always, and yeah,
you too, man.
yeah, I'm gonna end this bit.